All right, let's talk about something that's, well, it's a sensitive topic, but it is so incredibly important. Hoarding in seniors. This is all about giving you a compassionate guide, to help you recognize the signs, really get what's going on behind them, and learn how to help with dignity and respect.
You know the scene, right? A stack of old papers, a closet that's just a little too full. We've all seen it. But here's the big question. At what point does that simple clutter cross a line and become a real warning sign? Knowing the difference is absolutely critical because it directly impacts a senior's safety and their well-being.
So, first thing we need to get straight. This is rarely ever just about the stuff. Seriously, what might look like just a messy house on the surface can actually be a signal for much deeper issues. Everything from emotional distress to some pretty significant cognitive changes.
And here's the thing, it almost never happens overnight. It's a slow creep, a really gradual process. And that's exactly why it's so easy to miss in the early stages, right? A few items become a pile, that pile slowly takes over a room, and before you know it, the entire home has become a hazard. And when I say hazards, I mean serious dangers. Think about it. Blocked pathways dramatically increase the risk of a fall. In an emergency, can paramedics even get inside? On top of that, all that clutter can lead to really unsanitary conditions. And, this is a big one, it can be a major symptom of cognitive decline, like dementia. So, how do you tell the difference? How can you distinguish between simple clutter and a true hoarding problem? Well, there are 5 specific red flags to look for that go way beyond just the amount of stuff.
Yep, 5 of them. And these key indicators, they reveal a pattern of behavior that signals a deeper problem is developing.
Okay, let's break them down. First, the no empty surfaces syndrome, where every single table and chair is just completely covered. Second, an extreme emotional attachment to things that seem worthless, like junk mail or old magazines. Third, a total denial of real safety risks, like ignoring that an exit is blocked. Fourth, they start withdrawing from friends and family, usually out of shame. And finally, number 5, you might see dementia-related collecting, where someone's gathering items without any clear reason at all. This quote from Dr. Randy Frost really just gets to the heart of it all. This behavior isn't about being defiant, it so often stems from this deep-seated anxiety. Those items can represent memories, security, or maybe a defense against loss. Really understanding that it's driven by a need to feel safe, that is the absolute key to helping with compassion. So, you've recognized the signs, you're starting to understand the emotional drivers, so what can you actually do? Well, the key here is to use practical, empathetic strategies that build trust instead of causing more conflict. Let's look at the do's first. Start incredibly small. I'm talking one drawer, not one room. Use gentle questions, not commands, and validate their feelings. Just saying, I know this is hard, can make a world of difference. Now the don'ts. Never, ever throw things away in secret. It just destroys trust. Avoid shaming them, and absolutely do not rush the process. Patience is everything. This can take a long, long time. And if you're dealing with dementia-related hoarding, there's a great technique called chunking. It's super effective. Instead of trying to tackle a whole, overwhelming room, you just break the task into tiny, manageable sections, or chunks. For example, maybe your only goal for the day is to sort through the top shelf of one bookcase. See, this reduces anxiety and makes the whole process feel much more achievable. Sometimes the hardest part is just knowing what to say. These scripts are fantastic starting points. Notice how they focus on safety and collaboration. Could we clear this path together? Or how they frame it positively by helping others. This kind of language can completely change the dynamic of the conversation.
But let's be real. Sometimes a compassionate conversation just isn't enough. There are moments when the situation requires more than you can provide on your own, and it is vital to recognize when it's time to bring in outside help.
So pay close attention, because these are the signs that the situation has become too dangerous to handle alone, and professional intervention is really necessary for your loved one's safety. If you see obvious structural damage, pests, or rotting food, it's time to make a call. Same thing goes if the clutter prevents them from taking care of their basic needs, like getting to the bathroom. And finally, if your attempts to help are just met with a complete shutdown or refusal to communicate, that's a sign you need a neutral, trained third party. And you are not alone in this. There are some fantastic organizations ready to help. The National Association of Professional Organizers, or NAPO, can connect you with specialists who are trained to work with seniors. And the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, or ICD, offers access to experts who are specifically trained in hoarding disorder. All right, finally, let's talk about the real goal here, because it's really easy to get this wrong. And honestly, it's the most important takeaway of all.
I really want you to remember this. The objective is not to create a minimalist, perfectly organized space. It's about creating a home that is safe and healthy, first and foremost. It's about a process that respects their feelings and preserves their dignity above all else. That shift in perspective, it's everything.
So I'll leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about, what is one small, compassionate step you can take today? Maybe it's just planning a gentle conversation or offering to clear a single pathway together. That one small step, it could be the beginning of a much safer, healthier future for someone you love.